around. Yeah. That's so crazy.
That's genius. It's pulled up on YouTube. I started trying to find videos of black people using Ouija boards. Can't find them. If you can find one, please let me know, because I ain't seeing them.
Witch. A woman thought to have magic powers, especially evil ones. Popularly depicted as wearing a black cloak and pointed hat and flying on a broomstick. In medieval and early modern Europe, accused witches were usually women who were believed to have attacked their own community and often to have communed with evil beings. Suspected witches were also intimidated, banished, attacked, or killed. Often, they would be formally prosecuted and punished if found guilty or simply believed to be guilty. European witch hunts and witch trials in the early modern period led to tens of thousands of executions.
So it was estimated between 1484 and 1750 that over 200,000 people in Western Europe were tortured or executed just under the suspicion of witchcraft. And of that 2,000, 110,000 were prosecuted. But I find that interesting because it's like when you're tortured and they're trying to torture you to get you to confess to be a witch, it's like you're just going to say you're a witch, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So how many of those people were actually fucking witches?
Yeah.
So you went through 200,000 people, and how many fucking people were innocent out of those 200,000?
Yeah.
And they died horrible deaths. Like, we're talking about drowning, fire. I heard strangulation was one.
And eating mold.
Really?
Yeah. So there was like wheat or bread, and then it was molded in some cases, and then they would give you the bread, and if you didn't get sick from it, then you were a witch, I think so. Or
really?
I think it was the other way around.
Something that's obvious, right? It's like,
yeah,
if they threw you drowning, or if they threw you in the water with cement blocks and you floated, then you're a witch, right?
Yep. And if you didn't drown, or if you did drown, they would jump in and save you. That's what I read.
Really?
Yeah. In some cases, I guess.
I just assumed that they just let you die, and it's like, oh, that person was innocent. Fuck it.
I know, but he wasn't floated. So
yeah.
You let him die, he's just a bitch.
Right, yeah. It's a horrible way to go, man. It's just like
sad.
I was watching the show. I think I can't remember what it was, but just like being burned alive. Like, I can't even fucking imagine. You're just fucking getting roasted.
And I'm sorry that I'm smiling. That's just it is a horrible death to imagine, and
yeah,
being burned by the stove is enough,
dude, right?
And then a fucking flame all over your body. Oh hell no.
I was also reading that their doctors back in the day, they would diagnose. They'd go in there and they'd be like, you've got a fever and this and that. They're like, oh, you probably have this. But if the doctor couldn't figure out what the fuck was going on with you, you were just bewitched.
Whoa.
And then they'd be like, well, who fucking bewitched you?
Yeah.
So then that created more hysteria. And on top of that, you have people that, like kids and stuff, that were, supposedly bewitched.
Yeah.
But they could be like, hey, I think that person over there bewitched me. I was stepping on her fucking front lawn.
Yeah.
And she told me to fuck off. And I started feeling this way right after that.
Yeah.
So this person's a fucking witch, It's like, how many fucking people could, like, imagine the amount of Karens you could just fucking have fucking prosecuted.
Okay, so since you were talking about, 1472, in between that time.
1484.
I did happen to come across more information, I guess, in early Greece. That's also when witchcraft was going around.
Mm.
And so how you said you would step on somebody's property and then they would be like, fuck you.
Right.
You would have to talk the shit back to them, because if you allowed it to settle in your freaking skin and shit like that, then you were going to be bewitched.
Really?
So you'd have to freaking talk shit back to get the curse off of you and just like talk your shit back.
How'd they prove that?
I'm not 100% sure, but it was just like superstitions. And then like another thing, that's where like a lot of the, I guess like you would put salt around your house to keep spirits out, but instead of salt, you were drawing witch signs and just like you've heard of like things to keep repel freaking entities from your home.
Yeah.
And that's where like a lot of it started as well. And I don't know if you know, I think it's Xerxes. He was from ancient Greece as well, and he was known for turning people into animals. So that's like where a lot of like that witchcraft shit originated from, I think.
Huh.
And that shit is just like interesting, you know, because he was a male, and a lot of the people that were prosecuted or killed in 1472 were women. And it's just like weird that the gender is mainly on women in this era, you know, 1400s and stuff like that. And then a lot of the times they were just people that didn't believe what the other person believed. They fucked with them. This person's fugly as hell, you know. Like,
yeah.
And I don't know.
The weird thing though is just like, if that stuff really was happening, magic gave women power back then, because there was a time when they didn't have power, right?
Absolutely.
So being able to do these things gave them like, yeah, I can fucking give you some kind of fucking spell.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was kind of interesting because now you have people that are, you know, doing stuff to defend themselves and magic wise, where people don't understand what the fuck it is. But do you think it's evil?
Do I think it's evil? Shit. Alright, just give me a second to snuck up on me.
It's kind of a weird thing, because I've thought about it too. Like, I don't know if it's evil or not, because I know that there's probably good spells that heal people, right?
Absolutely.
So I know that, like, the way I kind of measured in my head is like, I can kind of consider like telepathy real, right? But I don't necessarily. I would kind of consider that magic to some people because they wouldn't know what the fuck that is.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily think that's evil.
Absolutely.
But there's things like that I would, you know, I think just bad stuff is just evil. But in these times, they were trying to say that, you know, if you weren't down with the fucking church, everything outside of it was just evil.
Yeah.
So even if you can grow a flower directly in your hand, you know, it's beautiful as ever, it's evil because it's something that's against God somehow.
Yeah, definitely. I think before I answer that, I think I need to like talk more about, is magic real? You know, do you?
Well, you ever watch David Copperfield and all those other? No, Chris Angel, is that the guy?
Chris Angels and David Blaine.
David Blaine. Have you ever seen that shit,
bro? Yes.
All right, so I'm gonna tell you, when I watch that shit, I'm thinking like, that's some witchcraft right there, baby.
Definitely. Okay, so I mean, do you think that shit's real? Like I could put a curse on somebody, a hex. I could influence this person's outcome through what I do, whether it's a spell, a ritual, you know.
I think you can put like little hexes on people. Like, for instance, like, you know, when people are like, oh, my shoulder's been feeling like weird, or I've been like overly depressed for, you know, or I'm super anxious or I'm super scared. Something, I mean, maybe that is, you know, some kind of spell or whatever it is.
Yeah, do you think that people are directly talking to each other and telling them like, look, man, I'm going to do this to you? And then do you think that becomes like a subconscious freaking paranoia, and then it develops into a physical or mental illness?
I think I don't think so. I think that, I mean, I say that with like not a lot of knowledge about it, but I will say this, that there's times where I think that I have something and I'll be like, I'll hyperventilate because I think, oh shit, do I have COVID or something crazy? Yeah. And I'm like, oh, am I having those signs? And I'm like, oh, I don't want to die from COVID, blah, blah, blah. And I'll start hyperventilating, right? So, yeah, I mean, I could see that. But to develop actual, like, weird things like boils on your head and stuff like that.
Isn't there such thing like stress boils, you know? And like, you know, you get back pain, stress, you know?
Yeah, I mean, back pain's common.
Heart attack, stress, you know?
That stuff is a little bit more common than like boils on your head, though.
Yeah, okay.
So visible like boils on your head from stress. I mean, people get pimples and shit, but boils, like big boils, I don't know.
Yeah, okay. Now I think I'm ready to answer.
Okay, go ahead.
I think it's with the intention or just like a misunderstanding. So this person could be really doing good. You know how in a lot of films they have this person that looks like nobody wants to fuck with them
Yeah.
for their looks.
Mm-hmm.
But then when this person has nobody to turn to, that is the person who ends up helping them. You know, the person they were most feared of.
Sure.
So like, I mean, sometimes I think it's just based on the people's views of the person, I guess. And that's what I mean, like, the magic can be influenced upon you through your view. So like, if this person gave me a death stare and I don't fuck with them, I'm thinking, oh shit, I got something now. You know? Okay. And then now another one. I think it's evil, like when people talk shit about each other. Everybody's doing it, you know? They're just like, look, man, I wish that bitch would die, honestly.
Right.
And some people really put the thought into it. You know, I'm going to crush these flowers. I'm going to...
Well, what about voodoo dolls?
Yeah, okay. Oh, I've had voodoo put on me.
Yeah?
Yeah. And I don't know if I felt anything from it. Like, I don't know what they did to it to make, like, my part of the body hurt or anything like that. But I know that a voodoo doll was created of me and with malicious intent.
How the fuck did you figure that out? That's got to be another story for the fucking times.
Well, I just say real fast. An ex-girlfriend of mine, she happened to be a bruja, a witch.
Okay.
And she told me, like, because of what I did to her, she created this doll and she's fucking, like, messing with it. And then, like, from there, I just didn't want to elaborate on what she would be doing to me.
Right.
I just knew from her, she made the doll
Mm-hmm.
and she had this intent on fucking harming me. Whatever it was, you know?
I think that's pretty powerful. Like, when you talk about intent, I've read stories about how people would be like, you know, I was walking to my car and then all of a sudden I just felt something murderous behind me. And then someone tried to fucking kill him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I feel like that's some kind of sense that we don't know how to really tap into. But that shit, I believe, is real. Intent, you know?
Yeah.
So
And you think
some
that
kind of
flows in the waves of the universe into
oh,
yours?
it could be put into energy, I think, and if it gets put into some kind of energy that could be used against you, 100%.
Okay, so how I was saying, you have to be in front of that person to hear them say this.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you don't have to? You know, it's just the amount of effort that you put into, you know, whatever you plan on doing, that it will eventually unfold onto this whoever I want. You know.
Well, I believe in like things like telepathy, right? Like I mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
and remote viewing. Have you ever heard of remote viewing?
I don't think so, but I mean, if you explain it, I think
so.
it
Remote
would.
viewing is like they give you, someone can give you descriptions, and they don't have to be perfectly accurate, but they'll give you like a time and date, some things that they can give you to help you envision something. And or like a person, they'll describe the person, right? So you won't even see the person. They'll be like, all right, so it's this kind of person. He's standing by a pool and whatever it is. And then the more information that they give them, they can see that person and tell them what they're doing. That's what remote viewing is. And apparently the CIA thought that was good enough because they did it back in the day and it was declassified that they did it. But if I were to explain that as real, I'd have to say that maybe it's possible that we can cast our energy out there, you know, and make it do things where it brings back some kind of vision for us or to do harm on others.
Yeah.
You know, or even when you, what about this? No one's ever thought about it. What about praying? You're praying for someone that's not in your house or they're farther away from you.
Absolutely.
So if you pray, that's the type of energy that you're putting out there, right? That's putting towards someone else. So maybe that does work.
Yeah.
You know, you're using some kind of energy that's cast out to someone else in a long distance.
Yeah.
So I think that's possible. But if I do believe that's possible, you know, I wouldn't say that's evil, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's evil to just like in the circumstance, you know, and that just means like if this person is really doing harm, then that's evil. But like you said, people can be growing flowers in their hand. Would that be seen as evil?
Yeah.
You know, what if they planted it in the ground? That just gives the world another freaking plant.
Sure.
All right, moving on.
Well, no, it's. I kind of don't want to move on just for a second. I just think that. So what your answer was is that magic,
yes and no.
Yes and no. So
Yes
it's
and
kind
no.
of.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's it's for that reason I just explained. I don't know how else to explain it.
But I think that it's crazy. Like, back in the day, I wrote this down as a note to myself. It's funny how just calling someone a witch is just like a weapon. It's just like you can walk down the street and just be like, do, going about my day, and someone just bumps into you. You fucking witch. And it's all of a sudden it's like, oh, no, you just got the person burned alive and hung. It's like, you can start some shit, you know, just like,
yep.
You're a witch, you know?
And that's what a lot of people were doing. They were people going to town, the witch hunters, and then they were like, just bring me women, specifically women, that you are suspecting of being a witch, and whoever's accusing them will be prosecuting them. Yeah. So they were the person basically saying, she's a witch because of this. Right. She fucking stepped on my fucking plant. She ate my food, you know? Yeah. What if in some cases it was people in the same house? You know, that would be fucking terrible. They're like, this bitch, she clogged the toilet. She didn't wash her hands. I don't know, bro. I'm pretty sure there wasn't plumbing back then. But, you know.
But can you imagine doing that shit like nowadays? It's just like all of a sudden you're just going to be like, you know, you go to your neighbor that you don't like and you're just like, hey, you know, this motherfucker's a witch. Yep. We got to do something about this. Yep. So, I also wrote in this note, in 1656, a woman was hung for, quote unquote, having more wit than their neighbors. That's fucking crazy.
I know.
And they hung this motherfucker. Yep. What?
I don't know.
For having more wit than their neighbors.
That just means she was better, bro.
Oh, this one was good too. I had to write this one down. So in the 1600s, King James VI was nearly killed in an accident in sea involving a storm. And he thought this was an assassination attempt from witches. So when he got home, he started this whole thing where he commissioned a bunch of trials to get 70 fucking witches captured and convicted.
Yeah, it was like an act.
And it's just like, what? So you're just fucking chilling out in your boat. And all of a sudden, something happened. The fucking storm's brewing. He's like, it's got to be them witches.
These bitches, yeah. That shit's crazy as hell. And then I think the fear passed on as they got older. I mean, not as they got older. It went down generations. Sure. Or what is it? I don't know.
It's like generations, right?
Yeah. From king to king, it got passed on. Mm-hmm. And then, like, that shit's crazy. Yeah. So, since you're bringing up, you know, instances, I read that, I guess the first witch, or the first woman accused of being a witch in Germany in 1572, the reason why she was actually hung or killed, I don't know exactly how she died, but it was because she apparently did some witch magic to murder a child. And then so they accused this woman of doing it, and that's how this shit started. Gotcha. And I just feel like that's evil. Yeah. You know, but like, where's the proof? Is there proof? And it's just sad, you know, because now you got this child that's dead. Right. And you pointed the finger at this lady who probably just bumped into the little girl and didn't say excuse me. Sure. Or something.
Yeah. And it's like, it's like road rage. Imagine like road rage nowadays when people fucking bump into each other. Oh my god. It's like, this is motherfucker's witch. You
Take down his license plate. Like, yo, this bitch in the red car.
Yes.
Red cars. If you got them, be careful.
It's absolutely insane, bro. But yeah, that shit nowadays is just too much. Yeah. But I got something for you here. I want you to. You weren't ready for this.
Oh shit!
But I want to show you something.
Okay.
So I want to know if you've ever seen this video. You're gonna have to move over to a little bit to the left. You ever seen this video before?
Not 100% sure.
So this happened in India, and these guys were driving on this road, and they see this person dressed in white. He's trying to get her out of the road by intimidation of using the car. And she just keeps advancing. And he's backing up. The reason why I think this is real on the guy's part is because you're going to start to hear his voice. And it's going to go crazy. I wish we can get this translated.
Bro, this shit is low-key intense. Oh, bro, I would hit the gas, honestly. I would run her over.
And that's what I thought of too.
Who in their right mind would not run her over? I'm sorry, okay? I'm going to jail, but I would run her ass over. Oh my
And she just
God.
keeps coming.
Look at that hunched back.
Yep, with the cane and everything. And when she gets faster, look, she's getting faster. Nah. I got two choices at this point. Fast, forward, or backwards, and I'm not very good at reverse.
You can't swerve around her?
I would try to swerve around her, though, for sure. This guy's terrified.
He is.
It sounds genuine.
Why is this car going so slow? Maybe he's in a rough road. Shit, she's going faster than the car.
Right? She's not even using the cane anymore.
Get a fucking rock.
And then she starts to move over.
He's hyperventilating.
Yeah. Right? I'd be very curious too. And I would think, the protection of my car. Like, maybe I can kind of sit here for. Oh, did you hear a scream?
I'm getting chills.
And that's where it ends. But it's fucking. Yeah. I mean, imagine that.
Bro, I'm shitting my pants. I'm not even playing.
But, stuff like that is real. Like,
That shit is real.
I can't even imagine being out in the darkness, no street lights, and you just pull up on someone that's there. Because you have that ultimate, like, hey, I want to help this person.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, how would you feel, like, if you pull up to someone, you see someone sitting on the side of the road, and you're like, I know there ain't nothing for miles. Why the fuck are you out here? And it's like, I kind of want to help you, but see ya.
Yeah. Absolutely, dude. I would have been terrified, especially in this instance.
Mm-hmm.
It was pitch black, no street lights,
Yeah.
dirt road. Like, where are you?
Right.
And you see this being in the fucking middle of the road, I would shit my pants.
Yeah.
And I would drive past. I wouldn't stop and stare. I'm sorry. I'm not helping you.
I'm not helping you. That's it. That's just a wrap on that person's life. You always wonder what happened to that person.
I'm not wondering.
You're not gonna wonder.
I'm
You're
not
just gonna
wondering.
play it out of your mind and erase it.
Yeah. All right. Fuck, dude. That shit gave me chills, for real.
There's another one that I watched, and in some of these things, it's like you never know if they're fucking real or not. But there's a lot of interesting ones out there where people are just walking out in the forest and then they stumble upon some like circle of witches, and shit like that. That shit is crazy.
Okay,
too.
okay.
And that's some of those were in the broad daylight.
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck.
So
Do you think it's ever like secret societies though? Like, is it the Mason's Grove? I don't know if you ever heard of
no,
it.
you're talking about oh my god,
With that big ass owl.
it's
We don't gotta talk about
Bohemian Grove.
it.
That's what it's called.
Bohemian Grove.
Yeah.
We don't gotta talk about
That could be another
That's
topic
another
for us.
topic, okay?
Yeah.
But next time.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that. I mean, if you're gonna go as far as to be a witch, you're gonna do witch shit like that, where you're gonna stand in a circle in the middle of the fucking forest and do something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally expect that to happen, and that's why I don't want to go camping anytime soon. Any places where you go off trail.
That shit right there probably just solidified me never going camping again. So don't invite me. I'm serious.
Yeah.
I'm not. That shit gave me chills. It ran down my neck, my fucking arms.
Right. But so what do you think about witches in this day? Do you think that they're just as terrifying as they used to be?
Absolutely not. I definitely think the fear has passed, just like a lot of things. For instance, no explanation. I'm just saying. So I think nowadays they're not really as intimidating because everybody has claimed to be this. Maybe they would be intimidating if the trials were still going on.
Sure.
Because that's low-key bold.
Right.
That's very bold to be claiming this, knowing damn well the repercussions.
Right.
You would possibly get hanged.
It's like any
burned.
religion,
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah.
Like Christians back in the day, obviously were part of a lot of that shit too. So renouncing something because you're getting tortured, I mean, that would be hard.
Yeah.
You know, especially if you believe in something to be true, and it's just like, oh, renounce this, or we're gonna fucking torture you for eternity. So Jesus Christ, just get it over with.
No pun intended.
But yeah, you got any more?
No, let me just review really fast.
All right.
Okay. Do you think that the witch marks were real? Like how you said, a boil on the head.
Mm-hmm.
Just really fast. Do you think a boil on the head, or probably a birthmark? Do you think that symbolizes?
Oh, they probably 100%. If you had a birthmark that looked like anything related to witchcraft, you're burning 100%. You cover that shit up immediately. You rip your skin off at that point.
Oh my.
But boils, I mean, maybe there's just stuff that, you know, they couldn't explain. Weird allergies. You know, what if you had a weird allergy to shellfish, and it's like, they couldn't explain it, and it's like, oh, witchcraft.
Maybe that's exactly what happened. There's just a lot of things that were not able to be explained, such as views. You know, they didn't know how to tell each other, this is not what I believe.
Right.
You know? So they were like, all right, that bitch needs to die because we all believe this.
Right.
That bitch is weird.
Yeah, but shit, man. Well, I think we should wrap it up from there.
It's been a good episode.
It's been a good episode. Witches, bro. Like, I ain't fucking with witches, and if I knew one right now, I'd be like, hey, please leave me alone. Just do your thing, and I'll do mine.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, bro. It was good doing it with you, but we're going to shut it off. Catch y'all later.
Thank you.